Good day everyone. Today we'll be tackling on how to draw our orthographic drawings. So as you can see, in this reference picture, we will try to replicate this isometric view using the dimensions mentioned in the different views. So to start, to draw an isometric view, we need to be in isometric drawing mode. So how do we enable isometric drawing mode? In this bottom right hand corner, we have this icon called isometric drafting. So we click this once, and as you can see, the grid changes to the isometric plane. Similarly, we can toggle between three different planes. So if we click this drop down, we have isoplane top, isoplane right, and isoplane left. If I click this, as you can see, our isoplane changes. So for now, I want to stay on isoplane top and make sure to enable this ortho mode to draw straight lines. So to draw this figure, we need to look at the top view first. So as you can see, it is 52 millimeters wide and 11 plus 11 plus 18, 40 millimeters long. So we draw a line, specify a starting point. So as you can see here, this 52 correlates with the length from here to here. So we draw a 52 line and 40 width. So how do we connect this without inputting 52? So if we want to make sure, we can simply hover our cursor to the starting point of our line, simply hover, and then hover back to our line. So once we hover back to our line, as you can see, there is a green reference line. This signifies that the two of our lines are parallel to each other. So we click once and then we close the box. So now we have this simple drawing. So how do we create this gap from here to here? So it says that the length of these two lines are 11 and it goes this much. So 52 minus 11 is 41. So it is 11 and 41. So we click on line. We plot 11 here. Then go down 41. And it says here that it is 18 wide. So 18, we input 18. And then we simply close or hover our line up to here to make sure that it is straight. So we click trim, then we simply trim this object. So now we have this drawing. From the top view to the front view, as we can see, we have this figure. And basing on our right view, we can simply justify that our width or our depth is 32 millimeters. So it says that our depth should be 32 millimeters. So as you can see, if I click on this endpoint and start drawing down, it will not go down. This is because we are on the isoplane top mode. So we click on Ctrl E to simply change our plane without clicking on this drop down. So Ctrl E, and now we are able to draw up and down. So it says that it is 32 millimeters deep, so we input 32 and then we hover up to here and draw our lines. Similarly, we want to also draw on this end, put 32. 11. Then we go up here and change our view so we can draw this. So now we have a figure that looks like this. So how do we draw these circular objects on our figure? So to draw this, we can simply input circle, because as you can see, if we input circle, it draws a circle that does not follow the isoplane. So we have a command called ellipse. So we type ellipse, press enter, and since we want it to be an iso circle, since we are an iso plane, we type I. So type I, press enter, and then we're able to specify where we want to draw our ellipse. So since our ellipse is 16 by 16, as you can see here, the radius of the big one is 16, then we must know that it should be in the midpoint of this 32 box right here. So since we don't have a 32 square, we first draw a 32 by 32 size square. To find the geometric center of our object. So again, we type ellipse, type I, and then now we can find our geometric center. So right here, it should lock and the two midpoints should be lighting up. So we click and then we draw our circle or our ellipse. So instead of inputting 32, we can simply lock it on to this point. And now this is a 32 diameter ellipse. So we can simply copy this. So copy, CO, select our object, press enter. Then we select this point and then change our isoplane. So since it's only moving upwards and downwards, we change our isoplane and we move it to here. So we should know because it locks onto the midpoint of our line. So we copy this here as well and here. So now we have this basic shape. So we draw the smaller circle next. So it is diameter 16, so its radius should be 8. So again, we type ellipse, press enter, or press I, then enter, and then find the midpoint of this object. Once we found the midpoint, we input our radius, so say 8. So now we have our smaller circle. So we copy this, select, press enter, select this midpoint, and then change our isoplane, select the midpoints of our objects. So once we have this, we can simply trim our drawing. So TR and trim the unnecessary portions. So we trim these lines, trim this, trim this, make sure to trim also the smaller lines. So once we have this figure, we simply follow the reference. So it should be connected from here to here and from here to here. Also, there is a line going downwards, so we must draw a line going downwards. We trim the unnecessary lines, and so we have this figure. Now for this small cylinder at the back, it should be in the midpoint of our box. So to find the midpoint of our figure in the back, we draw again a square. So we draw a square and draw an ellipse in the midpoint of this square. So the size should be again 18 millimeters in diameter. So we draw the radius, so 9. And since our cylinder is 32 millimeters long, we should copy this object, press enter, select the midpoint, then change your isoplane, and we input 32 in our AutoCAD. So now we have a 32 millimeters long cylinder. So we connect these by finding these diamond icons in our interface. And once we have this, we can simply trim our drawing. So again, trim the unnecessary lines. So as you can see, we have copied our isometric view.